Hey, what's up guys? This is Bob for BP Fishing, and today I'm going to share with you some of my Versatrack hacks. The boat that I'll be showing you today is a 2018 Tracker 175 TXW. Hey guys, I wanted to show you this. This is actually the Versatrack channel. It goes all around the edge of the boat, and it allows you to mount different accessories or rod holders or whatever you wanted at different points within the boat. The one thing that you'll find if you look for actual Versatrack items is they're extremely expensive. I think it was around $100 for 2 rod holders. So I decided to make them myself, and that's what I'm going to show you today. All right, guys, this is the rod holder that I chose to mount on the side of my boat. Now, I've got 2 sets of these, and I did grab 1 set from Bass Pro Shop as well because I wanted to check them out. So these particular ones were on Amazon. They were only $21.39 for a pair of them. Go down in the description below, look under my gear, and I'll have a link to these exact ones. That way you can order a pair if you want to. But now I'm going to actually walk you through how I went about doing this. So here are the items you actually need to be able to get this done. So I went and bought some carriage bolts. They're 1/4 inch by 2 inch. I also got some wing nuts that fit them, 1/4 inch, and I got 20 of them. And of course, I don't have the package, but you'll need some washers. So looking at the mount for these rod holders, I quickly decided that I wanted to drill an extra hole right down the middle of each side. If I used the top or the bottom holes that were originally drilled there when I got them, I did not like how they felt up against the rail. So I just decided to center it. That way I had a nice tight fit. So all I did was took a 1/4 inch drill bit and I went from the back side. As you can actually see here, there's a rectangular notch on each side, and all I did is went straight through with the drill bit to drill these holes. Once I drilled these holes, then if you look on the other side, now you're left with 3 holes. So all you're doing is using a 1/4 inch drill bit to go right through that center hole. Now, once you get your holes drilled in either side, all you have to do is take your 1/4 inch carriage bolt and actually slide it through each side. It's going to be a little bit of a tight fit just for the fact that we did use just a 1/4 inch drill bit. So now you're actually left with something that looks like this. And all you'll do is you will take this and literally slide the carriage bolt into one of the Versatrack sections, as you can see there. Then I prefer to take washers and put it on each side, and then your wing nuts. Now you can use smaller washers if you want to, but I was just trying to use what I had around here. Now that this thing's tightened down, it's literally not going to move anywhere. Now all you have to do is take your rod holder and slide it into place. It's got a special groove that'll allow it to lock into place. Once it locks into place, you lift up on it slightly, and there you go. Now it's completely adjustable whichever way you want it to. And if you decide you wanted to move this to a different spot, all you do is loosen up the wing nuts and slide it along the Versatrack wherever you want it to be. Once you get your desired location, tighten it down, and you're good to go. All right, guys, I wanted to show you something else you could do with this Versatrack system. This here is an ammo box. It's a simple ammo box. You can get it at Walmart or somewhere, anywhere, for $5 to $10, depending on if you find it on sale or not. So obviously this thing's got a clamp right here. You can actually open it up. I wanted this mounted to the front of the boat where I'm going to be fishing from. That way I have quick access to anything I need. So in here, I've got some spare weights and some hooks and things of that nature. I've got a pair of wire cutters, electrical tape. You just never know. I've got a knife in here. I actually have some spare batteries for my scale, just in case, because we've all been there before. How I mounted it is the same exact way. I use 2 1/4 inch carriage bolts. I drilled the holes through the box I used a 1/4-inch drill bit. I used a couple washers. And on this one, since I already have fishing rod mounts on either side, the holders on either side, I know this isn't going anywhere. I'm going to want this here. This is the location. So I actually used regular nuts on this instead of the wing nuts. I do actually have a couple extra wing nuts in here just in case something happens, but I use these because I know it's going to be here what I consider permanently. So if I decided I wanted to take this off, I would just have to use a wrench that I actually have sitting over here, and I keep in this box normally. I could use the wrench to loosen these up and remove this easily. Other than that, you know, all you have to do is clamp it down. You have a nice secure case right at the top. It's not going anywhere. Okay, this is the last little thing I'm going to show you guys. That way you can mount your GoPro as well. So this is something that through some creativity and design, I decided I wanted on the boat. Obviously, I can mount my GoPro right here. I can get nice shots of the water as I'm cruising through the water. That way I can put it in my videos. Not only that, I can have my GoPro mounted on here, and it could just be recording me as I fish. So this was not very hard to make once I figured out how to make it, and I'll explain that to you guys. All right, guys, so here's my last hack for the day. I actually purchased several of these zinc ground clamps, 1/2 inch to an inch. You can find these at your local Home Depot, Menards, whatever your hardware store. Just look for them in the electrical department. This is an example of one. This one is not zinc, but it is something I had in the garage that I was trying to use to design my setup. This was basically my prototype, and just because I'm kind of OCD about things, I wanted to make sure that if I was going to have 2 of them, that they matched each other. So I didn't use this one, and I bought zinc ones. But let me show you how I use this to mount my GoPro. So if you look at this, this is the same exact setup that I used on the rod holders and the toolbox. So I actually have the 1/4-inch carriage bolts on either side, and I've got some wing nuts. And what I did is I purchased that zinc ground clamp, and I actually threaded the carriage bolts through the back side over here. Then I put the cover on it, and I used these wing nuts and tightened it all down. Now this rod was actually a piece of a curtain rod that I didn't need, that was considered junk, but to me it worked out pretty good. So what I did is I mounted my GoPro clamp right at the top of it. You could see this is a little L bracket and everything like that for a curtain rod, but I actually use this now for a GoPro holder. I decided to put some insulation on this and Velcro it, or not Velcro it, zip tie it down. That way there was no glare into the water because this bar is kind of shiny. And I also mounted this on here. This is something I found basically on the clearance rack at my local Menards. This is a cup holder. And this cup holder actually goes into the vent on your vehicle. But what I can use this for is, while my GoPro's mounted at the top, I can actually put my energy pack that I use to charge my GoPro into this sleeve, and then I can run the electrical cord up to the top. And again, this is something that if I decide I want to move anywhere within the boat, I can easily undo this wing nut and slide this thing anywhere I want it to go. All right, guys, I wanted to show you this without the post being in this bracket. So what I've got here is I've got my carriage bolts, I've got my wing nuts, and I've got this zinc electrical bracket. All I did this time, this was the very first one I did, so I did it a little bit different than I did the other one. This one, I actually took the carriage bolts, I tightened some nuts on it. You could see the nuts here. Then I threaded it through the back side of this zinc bracket, and that way I can actually tighten it up real tight towards the back here. Then I went and put on the front piece and then my wing nuts. So you could see this is actually what it looks like. You could put your post right in here and tighten down a camera. So with this one on the back side, it's a little bit taller than the one on the front. I haven't purchased a second mounting piece for my GoPro yet. I have to do that. That way I don't have to take it off the front one. But it's the exact same concept. I used, again, the other piece of that curtain rod. I've got the cup holder for my energy pack if I want it to go in there. I use this foam to go all the way across the post. That way there's no glare into the water. And literally all I do is tighten it down, and I've got myself a nice mounting bracket. I'll throw a video in here real quick of what the view was from the front bracket, and I hope that you guys can use it as well. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do to end this video, I'm actually going to throw in a video. Does that make sense? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. This video that you're going to see to end this video will actually be footage of my GoPro sitting on one of these mounts that I put into the Versatrack. If you got questions, comments, whatever, leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.